Exact moment on February 14th, an invisible gear within the fabric of reality has turned. You felt it, didn't you? A sudden pressure in the chest, a subtle shift in the atmosphere of your home, or perhaps a profound silence cutting through the noise of the world. You, who recognize yourself as one of the chosen, did not arrive at this message by the role of a random algorithm. The law of assumption, as taught by the great mystic Neville Goddard, dictates that nothing happens outside of your consciousness. The world is simply you pushed out. What is unfolding right now is the direct reflection of a cycle that is violently closing and another far more intense that is beginning. This is an urgent alert for you and for your lineage, your family. What you expected and perhaps secretly feared has commenced. There is no returning to the state of slumber now. The changes are inevitable, and the spiritual shockwave emanating from your being is about to impact everyone around you. But why now? And why specifically you? As we stand on this precipice of change, realizing that the old ways of operating are dissolving beneath our feet, it becomes crucial to have a sturdy foundation for what comes next. If you feel that this knowledge is resonating with you, it is time to arm yourself with the proper tools. I invite you to discover the 3 keys to a prosperous life. This is not merely a collection of words, but a comprehensive trilogy designed as a practical map for the chosen to finally awaken to who they really are. It is a guide to healing the invisible locks that have held you back and to expanding your reality with absolute stability. We are talking about learning to receive, sustain, and multiply your blessings without a shred of guilt. Available as both an e-book for deep study and an audiobook for immersion, this trilogy is your companion for the road ahead. You can find the link waiting for you in the pinned comment or description below to begin this transformation today. But remember, tools are only as powerful as the hands that wield them. Which brings us back to the power currently surging through your hands and the disruption it causes. There is an anomaly in your interaction with the world that you have tried to ignore for years. You enter a room and the climate shifts. The conversations cease. The looks fixate on you, not necessarily with open admiration, but with a curiosity mixed with instinctive caution. They feel it. Even without knowing how to name it, they sense the density of your imagination, the sheer force of your I am. Neville said that imagination is God himself in action within man. When you, the chosen one, awaken to your creative power, you become a source of radioactive energy for those who are still sleeping. This phenomenon of being observed, of being the target of an uncomfortable silence, is not rejection. It is recognition. Their souls recognize the spiritual authority in yours. They look at you and see what they have abandoned, their own dreams, their own forgotten divinity. You are the living mirror of the promises they broke with themselves. That is the root of their discomfort. That is the cause of the silence. Your presence, without uttering a single word, judges their state of conformity. This is not arrogance on your part. It is simply the nature of light to reveal what was hidden in the shadows. For too long, you have tried to diminish yourself. You have tried to fit your vastness into small boxes so as not to bother your family, your friends, or your colleagues. You diluted your essence to make others comfortable, to keep the peace at the cost of your own soul. But God, or your own wonderful human imagination, says, enough. The time for explaining yourself has ended. The time for apologizing for who you are has expired. The mark you carry is invisible to carnal eyes, but it shines intensely in the spiritual realms. It is a mark of separation. You were separated for a purpose that transcends human logic, and this separation is about to become physical and evident in your family dynamic. Consider the friction you have felt lately, the misunderstandings that seem to arise from nowhere. This is the friction of frequency. As you ascend in consciousness, assuming the state of your wish fulfilled, you are vibrating at a rate that is becoming incompatible with the old stories your lineage tells itself. Neville taught us that we must die to the old man to be born as the new. But what happens when the old man is represented by the expectations and limitations of those closest to you? This February 14th marks the point of no return, where you must choose between their comfort and your destiny. If you continue to play small to appease them, you are not helping them. You are enabling their slumber. By dimming your light, you deny them the opportunity to wake up. The warning for your family is not one of doom, but of disruption. Your evolution will force them to confront their own stagnation. Some will be inspired, but others will react with hostility, for the sleeper hates to be shaken. You must understand that your imagination creates reality. And if you imagine them as enemies or obstacles, they will conform to that assumption. However, if you stand firm in your I am, if you assume the state of the noble, powerful, generous leader of your lineage, they will have no choice but to shift in response to you. The silence you hear is the vacuum created before a new creation. It is the space where you must now plant the new seeds of assumption. Do not fear the silence. Do not rush to fill it with nervous chatter or justifications. Let your presence speak. Let the results of your manifestation be the only argument you offer. This is the burden and the glory of the chosen. You go first. You break the generational curses not by fighting them in the external world, but by refusing to entertain them in your internal world. You are the door through which abundance, health, and wisdom can enter your bloodline, but only if you keep that door open, regardless of the winds that try to slam it shut. As you navigate this day and the days to follow, pay close attention to the synchronicities, the numbers, the overheard conversations, the sudden insights. The universe is speaking to you in a language that only you can decipher. If this message is piercing through the veil of your reality, consider subscribing and joining our community, for we are gathering the scattered sparks into a flame. The path of the chosen is solitary, but you do not have to walk it alone. Share your experience in the comments. Let us know if you have felt this shift, this pressure, this turning of the gear. Your testimony anchors the new reality for others. The silence is ending, and the voice of your true self is beginning to thunder. The question remains, are you ready to let that voice dictate your reality, or will you retreat into the safety of the known? The gear has turned. The mechanism is in motion, and as you step forward into this new frequency, realize that the resistance you feel is merely the air pressure against the wings of a plane that is finally taking off. There is higher ground waiting, and the view from there changes everything you thought you knew about your past. From this vantage point, the trauma that once defined your narrative begins to look like the structural foundation of a skyscraper, necessary, dense, and buried deep so that something magnificent could rise above it. You are realizing that the rejection you faced was protection, and the isolation you endured was preparation. The view from higher ground reveals that what you thought was a chaotic series of unfortunate events was actually a meticulously organized curriculum designed to awaken the God self within you. But this awakening brings with it a responsibility that most refuse to accept, which is the total ownership of your reality. You can no longer blame your lineage for the programming they installed, because you now hold the codes to rewrite it. The resentment you may feel toward family members who are currently acting as agents of the old reality is simply leaked energy, a vital resource you are squandering when you should be investing it in your new state of being. Every moment you spend mentally arguing with them or rehearsing your defense, you are cementing them in their current role as your antagonists. You are literally imagining them into existence as obstacles. To truly stabilize this shift and ensure that you do not fall back into the gravity of the old timeline, you need a structured approach to rebuilding your internal world. This is why I invite you to explore the 3 keys to a prosperous life. This is not merely a collection of books. It is a comprehensive trilogy designed as a practical map for the chosen who are ready to awaken to who they really are. It addresses the specific mechanics of how to dissolve the invisible locks placed upon your potential by generational conditioning and how to expand with stability. We focus on the art of receiving, sustaining, and multiplying abundance without the guilt that your lineage has tried to attach to it. Whether you prefer to absorb this wisdom through reading the ebook or listening to the audiobook while you move through your day, this trilogy offers the blueprints you need to navigate this transition. If you feel the resonance of truth in these words, click the link in the pinned comment or description to begin your journey with the 3 keys to a prosperous life. It is time to stop guessing and start building. As you equip yourself with these tools, you will find that the silence in your external world is not empty. It is pregnant with possibility. However, you must be vigilant, for this is the phase where the old man, the old identity, will try to stage a coup. It often does this through the mechanism of guilt, particularly regarding those you love. As you rise, the vibrational gap between you and your tribe widens. You may feel a sudden, inexplicable heaviness in your chest, a sense of grief that has no name. This is the biological sensation of breaking a generational contract. Your nervous system has been wired to equate safety with sameness. So when you begin to differ from the herd, your amygdala signals danger. It screams that you are being abandoned, or worse, that you are the one doing the abandoning. You must soothe this animal part of your brain with the truth. You are not leaving them behind. You are going ahead to clear a path. You are the scout. You are the pioneer. And pioneers often walk alone before the settlement is built. Consider the specific timing of this energy. We approach the middle of February, a time collectively charged with the energy of the heart, of connection, and of relationship. While the masses are focused on external validation and romantic gestures, the chosen are being called to a much deeper, more alchemical work within the heart center. The heart is not just a pump, it is a magnetic vortex, the strongest generator of electromagnetic fields in the human body. When Neville spoke of "feeling is the secret," he was not talking about emotional volatility. He was speaking of the magnetic signature broadcast by the heart. If your heart is constricted by judgment of your family, by fear of their opinions, or by the need for their permission, your magnetic field is chaotic. You are broadcasting static. This is why you may be manifesting mixed results. 1 day of breakthrough followed by 2 days of confusion. To clarify the signal, you must perform a radical act of forgiveness. This is not for their sake, but for the efficiency of your own creation engine. Forgiveness is simply the act of taking your attention off the old story, so that the energy can be repurposed for the new one. If this concept of energy economics is making sense to you, please take a moment to like this video. It signals to the algorithm that this frequency needs to reach more of the scattered tribe who are currently navigating this same difficult transition. Now let us look closely at the enemies in your household or your history. In the philosophy of the mirror, there is no other. There is only you pushed out. The family member who constantly criticizes you is a reflection of your own internal critic. They are playing a role that you, on a subconscious level, have assigned to them to validate your own feelings of unworthiness. If you truly felt noble, powerful, and secure in your I am, their criticism would have no hook to catch on to. It would either cease to exist or it would pass through you like smoke. The fact that it triggers you is the gift. It is showing you exactly where your armor has a chink. Instead of reacting with anger, observe the trigger. Ask yourself, what must I be believing about myself to experience this interaction? This is the shadow work. This is the gritty reality of the chosen path. It is not all light and bliss. It is the ruthless examination of the self until only the diamond remains. The danger of this particular weekend, this portal of the 14th, lies in the temptation to seek comfort in the familiar. You may feel a pull to lower your standards, to engage in the old gossip, to participate in the commiseration of the oppressed that often bonds families together. They bond over their ailments, their lack of money, their bad luck. It is a communion of suffering. If you sit at that table and partake in that meal, You ingest the poison you have spent months purging. You must learn the art of being present physically, but absent vibrationally. You can sit at the dinner table, smile, and pass the salt, all while your inner man is bowing before the throne of your own imagination, dwelling in a state of opulence and peace. You do not need to preach to them. In fact, speaking of your revelations to those who are not ready is a form of vanity. It is the ego trying to prove it is special. The true master keeps his counsel. He allows the results to be the evangelist. There is a subtle trap here that we must dismantle, the savior complex. Many of the chosen believe their mission is to save their family from their ignorance. This is a fallacy. You cannot save anyone who is in love with their chains. Attempting to force them to see the light before their eyes are adjusted will only cause them pain and make them lash out at you. Your only duty is to keep your own lamp burning so brightly that eventually they may become curious about the source of your fuel. Until then, respect their journey, even if it looks like stagnation to you. Every soul has its own timing. Your impatience is not a sign of your advancement. It is a sign of your lack of trust in the divine order. When you trust the law, you know that everyone is exactly where they need to be, to learn what they need to learn. Release the burden of being the family messiah. It is too heavy, and it is not yours to carry. As you navigate this separation, you will notice that the universe begins to fill the void with new characters. This is the law of vacuum. Nature abhors a vacuum. When you create space by withdrawing your energy from toxic dynamics, you create a suction that draws in new alliances. But you must be patient. Do not rush to fill the silence with noise. The period between the departure of the old and the arrival of the new is the hallway of faith. It is in this hallway that your character is tested. Will you panic? Will you run back to the old room because the hallway is dark? Or will you keep walking, guided only by the internal vision of the room that waits at the end? This is where the daily practice of revision becomes your lifeline. Every night, review the events of the day. If you had a conflict with a loved one, rewrite it. In your imagination, hear them say what you wish they had said. See them looking at you with respect and love. Feel the satisfaction of a harmonious interaction. Do this until the feeling of relief washes over you. You are not deceiving yourself. You are changing the frequency of the memory. And because the past and future are fluid, this alteration of the past shifts the trajectory of the future interactions. If you are committed to mastering these techniques and walking this path to its conclusion, consider subscribing to the channel. We are building a library of the lost wisdom, and your presence here strengthens the collective signal. Let us go deeper into the mechanics of dying to the old man. This is not a metaphor, it is an energetic death. The old version of you, the one who sought approval, the one who played small, the one who apologized for existing, was a living entity fed by your attention. As you withdraw that food, that entity begins to starve. Its death throes can manifest as sudden anxiety, vivid nightmares, or waves of exhaustion. You might wake up feeling like you have run a marathon. This is because your body is literally restructuring itself at a cellular level to accommodate a higher voltage of consciousness. The old wiring cannot handle the current of the I am in its awakened state. You are undergoing a biological upgrade. Treat your body with extreme care during this time. Rest more, drink more water, step away from overstimulation. You are in the chrysalis. It is a messy, gooey, destructive process, but it is the only way to gain wings. The warning mentioned earlier, that of disruption, is crucial to understand. When you change your position in a mobile, the entire structure must shift to find a new balance. Your family system is a mobile. You have been a counterweight, perhaps holding up the dysfunction of others. As you move, they will swing wildly. They may accuse you of being cold, distant, or arrogant. You've changed, they will say, with an accusatory tone. Your response, internally, should be a celebration. Thank God, you should whisper to yourself, I have changed. Do not apologize for your evolution. The greatest act of love you can offer them is to show them that change is possible. By breaking the cycle in yourself, you prove that the cycle is breakable. You become the living evidence of a new option. Pay close attention to the financial implications of this shift. Generational curses often manifest most visibly in the bank account. The scarcity mindset is a loyal servant of the old lineage. It says, we are not the kind of people who have money, or money is the root of evil, or you have to work yourself to the bone to survive. These are spells cast by your ancestors and repeated by your parents. As you break the emotional addiction to your family's drama, you will often find that your financial blockages begin to dissolve simultaneously. Money is simply energy. It flows where attention flows. If your attention is trapped in the past, your resources are trapped there too. As you bring your mind into the present moment of the wish fulfilled, you open the sluice gates. Do not be surprised if unexpected checks arrive, or debts are cancelled, or new opportunities present themselves in the coming weeks. This is not luck. It is the externalization of your internal liberation. However, a word of caution: when the abundance begins to flow, the old guilt will try to tax it. You may feel that it is unfair for you to prosper while they struggle. You may feel an urge to give it all away to save them. Generosity is noble, but martyrdom is foolish. If you give from a place of guilt, the money will not help them. It will only subsidize their stagnation. You must learn to receive fully, to own your prosperity completely, before you can give effectively. You must become a stable reservoir before you can become a river. If you drain yourself to water their weeds, you will both wither. Stand firm in your entitlement to the good life. It is your birthright. The chosen are not chosen to suffer. They are chosen to demonstrate the end of suffering. There is a frequency of royal silence you must cultivate. Look at the archetypes of kings and queens. They do not explain themselves. They do not argue with the court jester. They simply set the decree and allow it to be done. You are the monarch of your own consciousness. Your decree is your assumption. I am wealthy, I am healthy, I am loved, I am free. Issue these decrees in the silence of your imagination, and then walk in the conviction that the command has been heard and is being executed. The external world may take time to rearrange itself, just as a ship takes time to turn, but the turn has begun. The momentum is on your side. As you move through the remainder of this month, observe the synchronicities involving the number 14, the number 5, which is 1 + 4, the number of change and disruption, and the number 1, new beginnings. You might see 1414 on the clock, or receive receipts totaling 1414. These are not coincidences. They are winks from the universe confirming that you are aligned with the portal. You might also hear conversations where strangers seem to be speaking directly to your situation. This is the phenomenon of the fluid reality. As your vibration raises, the world becomes more malleable, more responsive. It loses its rigidity. You will start to feel like you are moving through a lucid dream. This is the state of the master. The resistance you feel, the pressure against the wings, is actually the substance upon which you climb. Without the resistance of the air, the plane cannot rise. Without the resistance of the old reality, you would not have the friction necessary to ignite the fire of your determination. Bless the resistance. Bless the difficult family members. Bless the empty bank account. They are the weights in the gym of the soul, and you are getting stronger with every rep. But now, it is time to leave the gym and enter the arena. The training phase is merging into the performance phase. You are ready. We must also address the concept of the phantom limb sensation in your old life. Even after you have severed the energetic cords of codependency, you may still feel the itch, the phantom pain of the severed connection. You might find yourself reaching for the phone to call that person who always drains you, simply out of habit. This is a crucial moment of choice. Put the phone down. Direct that energy into a visualization. Close your eyes and imagine telling them the good news of your success. Imagine them congratulating you. Do this in the astral realm. not the physical. By doing this, you satisfy the urge to connect, but you do it on your terms, in a controlled environment where you dictate the script. This is how you retrain your instincts. You are weaning yourself off the drug of external validation. If you have felt this phantom pull, this urge to go back to what broke you just because it is familiar, comment, "I am moving forward," below. Let your declaration be a stake in the ground, marking the boundary between your history and your destiny. The path of the chosen is often described as the narrow gate. It is narrow because you cannot take your baggage with you. You cannot take your victimhood, your resentments, or your need to be right. You have to strip down to the naked truth of your being. This stripping process is what makes February such a potent month. It is a month of purification. The cold of winter in the northern hemisphere, or the heat of summer in the southern, serves to crystallize the intent. Nature is extreme right now, and so are you. You are in the crucible. The heat is rising to burn off the dross, leaving only the gold. Do not fear the heat. The fire is not there to destroy you. It is there to reveal you. Remember, the new man is not something you become. It is someone you release. It is the statue inside the block of marble. The sculpture is already there, perfect and complete. Your job, and the job of the trials you face, is simply to chip away the excess stone. Every argument you don't engage in is a chip of stone falling away. Every fear you face without blinking is a layer of dust removed. You are revealing the masterpiece that was there before the foundations of the world. As we continue this descent into the depths of the self, realize that your lineage is watching you, not just the living, but the ancestors who came before. You are the focal point of 1,000 generations. All their hopes, their struggles, their unfulfilled dreams are culminating in you. You are the one who has the consciousness to break the pattern. This is why the pressure feels so immense. You are not just living for yourself, you are correcting the timeline for your entire bloodline. When you heal backwards and forwards. You liberate your ancestors from their regrets and your descendants from their inheritance of trauma. This is the glory mentioned in the ancient texts. It is the glory of being the circuit breaker. So, when you sit in silence today, know that you are surrounded by a cloud of witnesses. They are cheering you on. They want you to succeed because your victory is their redemption. Do not let the petty squabbles of the living distract you from the grand mission of the soul. You are doing important work. You are doing God's work. The I am in you is the same I am that spoke the universe into existence. Do not use that power to complain about your cousin or your mother. Use it to build worlds. Use it to declare peace. Use it to manifest a reality so compelling that those around you are lifted up simply by being in your proximity. The gear has turned. The click has been heard. There is no going back to the sleep of the unaware. You know too much now. You have seen behind the curtain. The only way is through. And as you walk through this valley, fear no evil, for you are the creator of the valley and the shepherd that walks through it. The power is in your hands, the word is in your mouth, the vision is in your eye. Keep your gaze high. The turbulence is temporary, the altitude is permanent. Stay the course. The view is getting clearer by the second, and in this clarity you will perceive the mechanism of your own creation with a precision that might startle you. You will understand that the delay between your internal shift and your external reality is not a denial. It is merely an echo. Think of a massive ocean liner turning at sea. The captain turns the rudder deep beneath the water. The intention has been set, the mechanism has engaged, and the direction has technically changed. Yet for several moments, the massive weight of the ship continues to drift in the old direction due to momentum. This is the lag time of manifestation. This is where the majority of seekers abandon the path. They turn the rudder, they do the shadow work, they release the trauma, but when the ship of their life does not instantly spin on a dime, they panic. They let go of the wheel, they assume it didn't work. You must understand that your current reality is simply the residual momentum of your past thoughts and actions. It is old news. Do not judge your spiritual progress by the immediate arrangement of your physical circumstances. You must hold the wheel steady. You must maintain the vision when the environment contradicts it. This is the true definition of faith. It is not blind belief in magic. It is the loyalty to an unseen reality that you have already touched in the spirit. If you have the courage to hold that rudder firm while the momentum shifts, you are demonstrating the mastery required to build a legacy. If this understanding of the time lag brings you a sense of relief, express that resonance by liking this video, signaling to the algorithm and to your own subconscious that you are willing to wait for the turn. As you hold this course, you will encounter another phenomenon, the recalibration of your nervous system. For years, perhaps,